Hey everybody, today we have an unboxing from the Cubicle, and so this package is actually from Sudu Cubers Giveaway. So if you don't know and you didn't watch that video, I ended up winning a Sudu Cubers Giveaway. So I'm super blessed to be able to get this cube during this quarantine, and so yeah, so I'm going to open up this package and let's see what's inside. Before we start this video, make sure to like and subscribe and turn on post notifications so you can be notified of upcoming videos. And also, my link for my merch site is in the description down below. Make sure to go check it out. Alright, so let's open up the package. Alright, and here we have the cube with some bubble wrap. Alright, so here we have the cube. Then we have some Cubicle Koala logo. And then we have the Cubicle card. And that is it. So this is the Thunderclap V3M. So if you didn't know, I was supposed to get a cube from TCS, but it ended up being super hard to ship it internationally just because of shipping. And I would have had to got like a $4 cube. But yeah, so we ended up getting a cube from the Cubicle, and so I ended up getting the Thunderclap V3M and stickerless. So let's look at this logo. So it's just a koala logo with the Cubicle logo, and then you got a koala for a 3x3. I don't know what I'll be doing with this. Maybe I'll put it on the Thunderclap, but yeah. So now let's go into the cube. So when you're looking at the cube, you see it has a circle right here, so you can look on the inside and see what the cube looks like. And then overall, it's just a really nice sleek box, white and black. And then it's got their Mofeng G logo right here and right there. Alright, so let's pull apart these pieces. So it opens like that, pretty cool. And then we have the cube. It's got a little plastic thing on top. So let's take out the cube. Alright, and then on the inside, it also comes with a pamphlet. Alright, so now let's get into the Thunderclap V3M. Now I did get it in stickerless just because I do like stickerless cubes better. So let's open this up. Alright, so right out of the box, there's a tiny bit of lube, but not too much on the outside. But yeah, so let's go ahead and look at the shades. So we have white, red, yellow, orange, green, and blue. So pretty standard shades. So yeah, so let's go into first terms. Alright, so right out of the box, it does feel really sandy, kind of dry. There's not, it doesn't feel like there's a ton of lube in there, but if there is, it just needs to be worked in a little bit more with a couple of solves. Now, obviously, this is a budget cube coming at around $10, so it's not going to be my main over my XS. Let's check that magnet strength. Right now, it feels about medium strength, and when you're turning, you can't really feel it right now. Alright, so yeah. So overall, first impressions of the cube, it is definitely a budget cube, and it is pretty heavy. Like, for 3x3, this cube feels quite heavy. It's not like the XS where it's extremely light. And there are no, like, extra functions on this, like magnet changes or spring changes. They didn't come with extra springs. But yeah. So let's check tension out of the box. About standard, you won't be able to take it apart without a screw. It does feel a little bit tight for my liking, but it's pretty close. Alright, so let's just scramble this up and look at the shades. They are definitely really easy to see. They're contrasting each other very well. Alright, so let's just do a quick solve. It is really difficult to solve it through the camera right now. It messes with look ahead. And we got a PLO skip. Alright, so not too bad, not too bad. It is definitely a budget cube. Now, it is pretty good budget cube. I'd say that they probably could have sold this at $15 or $20 if they had lubed it just a little bit more, maybe a little bit better setup. But yeah, so overall right now my first impressions of the cube are pretty good. Let's go ahead and check corner treading. Ooh. So it's cutting about right there. So not quite where this line is matched up, because that would be right here. And it gets a little locky. And then let's try regular. Now it can't go line to line right here. So for the rest of this unboxing review, before we get into it, I'm going to set it up to my liking and see just how good this budget magnetic cube I can get. About 20 solved with this cube so far. So now what I'm going to do is break it down, set it up, and see if my times get any better. So let's break it down. Alright, so let's take a look at the pieces. So right here you can see we have the corner and the edge. So let's take a look at the corner. So right here, as you can see, we have the caps, and then we have primary plastic. And as you can see right here, there's some grooves on the edge pieces. And then this is just solid flat, which makes smooth turning. And then the torpedo is just a normal torpedo, nothing cool about that. Then we have the edges on the corners. It has a little stock right there, so it looks like a mini corner on top of a corner stock. And then these corner stocks have this like little circle piece right here, and there's no grooves on this, but there is grooves on these pieces to match the edge, and then they fit together just like that. And there are magnets, of course, in the cube. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is clean all of the... Alright, so now that we have all of the pieces nice and dry, got rid of all that lube that was on the outside, let's take a look at the core. So the core is, your standard stock. Alright, so now what we're going to do is put together, we're going to re-lube the core because there was no lube in the core at all. Now first, I want to take a look at the screw and spring. So this screw is really weird. It's got a larger bottom and a smaller top. And then we have the regular screw with the washer that's connected, and then the spring goes on like that. A little bit different kind of a spring because usually they're not like that, and they're usually more straight, but overall still functions like a regular spring. So now I'm going to lube up the core. Alright, so let's lube this up. Alright, so now that we have it lubed back together and we've got it all lubed, let's go ahead and put on the center caps while it's still loose. Alright, so now that we have all the center caps back on, as you can see, it is extremely loose right now. I barely have any of the screws tied in, but that's just to make assembling easier. Alright, so now let's go ahead and assemble this cube. Alright, so now that we have assembled it, as you can see, all the pieces are sticking out just because of how loose this cube is. And look at this. This is just hilarious because of how loose this cube is. But yeah, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to tighten up all of these pieces. Made it a whole lot tighter than it was. We're going to add in some lube. Alright, so for this cube, I think that Lubical Speedy will be really good in this cube. It will make it super smooth and yet still retain a little bit of speed. While this cube is extremely fast, it is feeling a little dry, and even with some lube, I feel like this will just overall enhance the experience of this cube. Alright, so let's go ahead and break in the lube. Alright, so I ended up adding in a couple drops of Silk and a couple drops of Angstrom X just to help slow it down because this puzzle was really fast, and it still is extremely fast. So overall, right now, the cube is relatively smooth, except the problem is that because it's a budget cube, it doesn't respond to lube extremely well. So the plastics does still feel a little bit kind of dry. It's not the lube problem, just because of how the cube's plastic is, because it's not the most premium plastic in the world. But overall, this cube is extremely fast and has a very crunchy kind of feeling, even though the magnets are kind of subtle. I'd say that if you have a GAN XS, if the GAN XS speed rating was like a 9, I'd say this cube would be somewhere around a 7.5. So this cube is extremely fast, and it's even faster without adding in some lube. It was just too fast for me because of how weak the magnets are. Now, they're not like weak magnets, but they are kind of subtle, so I'd say they're about medium. But overall, this is a really good budget cube, and I'm still blown away at how cheap this cube is, because they could have probably easily sold this for around $15 to $18 easily. If they had added some extra stronger magnets, then they definitely could have made it around $20, and if they made the plastic a little bit more high quality, then they could have sold it for around $30. But so yeah, so overall, I'm really impressed with this puzzle. I definitely recommend it for a good budget cube. If anyone's looking to find a cube that isn't too expensive, it's around $10, only $2 more than a Rubik's brand, and the difference between this and a Rubik's brand is just dumb. But yeah, so overall, this is going to be it for this review, and my times did improve greatly with this cube. So yeah, so my times did improve by setting this cube up. So after setup, it is just a little bit better, but not that much better. It's kind of reached its limit of how good this cube can get. But overall, it is definitely a really good cube. I definitely recommend it to anyone looking for a budget cube, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.